Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel. It's been a really long time since I made a video, and quite frankly, putting way too much effort into the production and the editing and stuff. I wasn't really just focusing on the content, and it took so long for me to get a video out, so it just was such a daunting process that I didn't want to do anymore. I'm back, and it's gonna be more of a laid back YouTube channel, a bunch of tutorials. I'm probably gonna hop on here and say, hey, give you a little update on whatever's going on in my life. So to kick off the revamp of the YouTube channel, I asked all of you to ask me anything about either hooping. It doesn't have to be about hooping, it can be just like about me, but most of it had to do with hooping. So the biggest question that everyone was asking me was, what made you start hooping, or what was the beginning of your hoop journey? I went to a college in upstate New York, and it was a very hippie college. So I'm not exactly sure how I was introduced to it, but I know that it was there. The first time that I really started my hoop journey was at Mountain Jam Music Festival at Hunter Mountain, and I pretty much just saw a girl holding a bunch of hula hoops, and I was like, you know what, I kind of want that for the remainder of the festival. So I bought one and I started hooping like pretty much ever since then. I took kind of like a little bit of a break because I wasn't progressing at all and I gave up on it, but then I came back to it a couple months later and just kept doing it ever since. Some of my biggest inspirations when it came to the beginning of my journey was definitely Rachel Lust. She had her groove video out. It was like the first viral hoop video that I've ever seen, at least. And once I saw that, I was like, that girl is such a badass and I want to be exactly like her. Another person asked, what age did you start hooping? And I was 21, either 20 or 21, somewhere around that age. And the second part of the question is, what do you think a good age to start is? It is the age that you are at right now. It doesn't matter what age you are. I've seen hoopers as young as 7 years old, and I've seen hoopers that don't pick it up until they're in their 50s or 60s. And it doesn't matter how old you are, you just pick up a hoop and guess what? You've become a hooper. The next one is, what is your absolute favorite trick and why? I guess my favorite trick is definitely like a handspin to escalator. It is the trick that I know I will always get down no matter what. Like I've perfected that move so much so that I know that I'll always get it down in my flow. My other favorite hoop trick is probably breaks and paddles, just because I've spent so much time of my hoop journey perfecting those as well. I'm still working on them. They're definitely not perfect. There's another question in here that says, what made you want to start hooping? And I think like a better question is like, what made me want to stay with hooping? I just honestly love how it makes me feel. I love how unique it is. A lot of people have no idea what hooping is, and it's funny because once you become a hooper and you become so engulfed in the hoop community, it's like, oh my God, so many people are in this community. Everybody must know what it is. But, you know, 9 times out of 10, nobody knows what you're talking about when you say that you hula hoop. What really makes me want to keep with hooping is how it makes me feel during it, and especially how it makes me feel after it. It makes me feel really confident. I'm immediately so much happier. Even if I have a really bad flow sesh, I'm so much happier than I was before I started hooping. Another question here that says, what's the difference between tape tubes and non-tape tubes? So the biggest difference is that a tape tube has pretty tape on it, and a non-tape tube is just a bare polypro HDPE whatever type of hoop. I think the biggest differences with those is bare hoops tend to have like a better grip on them, in my opinion at least, and they can be naturally sanded. Tape tubes, I mean, they're beautiful and they look super pretty, but they do tend to get scuffed unless they have that clear protective tape on it. I personally only use taped hoops like once in a while. I'll most likely use it if it's like a reflective hoop so you can get a cool video out of it. I mostly just use bare hoops because they have that natural sanding in it. I feel like I get a better grip on it, and I don't know, I guess I just like bare hoops better. Ooh, okay. Highs and lows of starting your own business. Okay. The highs are definitely all the people that I have come in contact with ever since I started really diving into like online teaching. I've made so many friends, and I have gotten so much support from the hoop community ever since I really started giving back to the hoop community. I do have hoop friends, like flomies and stuff, but not a lot. And I know that a lot of people do have like a really big community, but most of my community is online. Your flomies just like get you a little bit better than your other friends, because not only are you friends just because you're friends, but you're friends because of the same passions that you have. Lows, oh my gosh, okay. So many lows, I'm not gonna lie. I feel like when you're constantly on social media, you wanna give out a presence that is positive, right? But when it comes to having your own business, there are so many negative things that you have to deal with. Money is a big one. Your time is another big one. A lot of doubt, especially when it comes to something like this. It's so unique. People don't know what it is, so it's really hard for people to understand or to believe in your business because they have no idea that there is actually a need for it. A lot of trial and error when it came to me figuring out studio classes, figuring out my teaching style, figuring out how to use like different types of equipment so that I can get like a better quality video or workshop or whatever. It takes a lot of time and it takes a lot of dedication, and I literally eat, sleep, hoop. Like that is like all I do. Especially in the beginning of quarantine, I really was like, I want to do this. Like I lost my job in March, or end of March, and I was like, I have to put all of my energy into this, because one, if I am not putting my energy into something that I really love, I'm gonna go to a dark place. And I like hooping is just something that I've always loved, and I do have a knack for teaching. So I thought, why not offer this, especially in a time where people are turning to new hobbies and bettering themselves mentally and physically. So it really was like a good time for me to lose my job, because one, I was like super fed up with it, and corporate America is just like not for me. Not saying that it's bad for anyone else, but it's definitely not good for me. Like all of it just kind of aligned. This is the last question. It's, what trick or type of hooping was hardest for you to learn? On-body hooping does not resonate with me at all. The only thing that I knew how to do was waist hooping, like at the beginning of all of this. But other than that, like when it came to chest and shoulder hooping, that was like an absolute no-no for me. I avoided chest and shoulder hooping for, I want to say like 3 years, until, yeah, like probably 3 years into my journey. And then I was like, I need to master this, because this is like a foundational move. Like hooping, I am not strong at. I can barely incorporate that into my flow. If I do, it will most likely end up on the ground. And also when it comes to waist hooping, I'm still struggling going in the other direction. Like on-body hooping was just never something that really like came naturally to me. Off-body hooping was definitely more like my forte, or like I had just like a better knack for it. In my opinion, on-body hooping is like the most therapeutic thing that you can do. So I hate that I'm not really that good at it. I wish that I was, but you know, even 6 years into my journey, I'm still learning new things and I'm still growing as a hooper. It just goes to show that it doesn't matter if you're a brand new hooper or if you've been hooping for like 10, 15 years. There are still things that you're going to be learning, and it's awesome because this journey literally never ends. There's new moves that come out every single year, and the style of flow changes just like fashion, you know? Pretty much the end of my Q&A. So thanks for coming back to my channel. I'm sorry that I've been gone for a while. Be sure to check in, subscribe, like this video, whatever. I'll be posting some more tutorials on here. Be sure to follow me on Instagram and TikTok, and I guess I'm on Twitter now. Everything is at Hoop with Kate. Also check out my shop. I have these cool sweaters. I make hoops. I make other types of clothing. I make stickers, so be sure to check that out too. So yeah, thanks for coming back. Happy hooping.